So years ago, my wife, which is still a weird term for me to be saying, made this. We had a broken Nintendo 64 controller. I was trying to look into like replacing the joystick, and it would have ended up costing more than just buying another controller. So she decided, and I'm sure some people are upset by it, but to make an art piece out of it. It's actually been hanging on the wall in our living room for some time now. All of the buttons and stuff are glued in, and it was left hollow, so you could actually hang it using what would originally be for the cable path right here. Although the joystick does still kind of move. Yeah, see, it does that. Yeah. Well, she decided that she wanted to try that project again, so she bought a giant lot of untested controllers on eBay to see if any of them will work. Then I have more things for my collection. If they don't, and I can't fix them, well, then she has things she can make stuff out of. So we have a lot going on here today. Believe that is original NES right here. And we have the quick shot. So you have auto fire on and off, start and select. Then you have your bumpers right here and a D-pad. Very bizarre controller. Nintendo joypad patent pending, made in China. I mean, it seems like it would work. Like, none of the buttons feel like crunchy or anything. This would be really weird to play with. Like, I guess you have like two hands there. This would be very bizarre to play with. But I'm going to go through, look at all of them, see if there are any obvious issues. Then I'm going to get my crappy little monitor hooked up and start hooking up game consoles and actually give them a test. Okay, bit of a crunchy cable on this guy, but we have a nunchuck. Clearly been pretty beat up. And the actual rubber on the joystick is just gone. But it's still nice and snappy. The cable is a vibrant yellow, we could say. It's actually a Mad Catz controller, didn't even realize that. Then we have our C and Z buttons, which, I mean, they feel fine. Yeah, Mad Catz right there. Actually, I'm done. That first one was NES, because this one is SNES. I forgot their connector was Y, because the NES, I believe, used the same connector as the Atari 2600. So here we have the Super Pad by Performance. And once again, it feels fine. The rubber's actually in okay condition, which you tend to see wear down on these. However, that's pretty scuffed. But all of our buttons appear to be fine. That logo's long gone. But Super Pad by Performance. It seems to just be a standard SNES controller here. Maybe a bit like wider. Oh my god, this thing is foul. We have one of the controller pads. I don't know exactly what the term was for them. For the Wii. Look at those joysticks and like over the, can that just like scrape off? Okay, so I guess I can clean it. Aside from being gross, ooh, that was a bit crunchy. That's a bit crunchy. Those feel fine. Like they're not like getting stuck in any certain direction. Huh. We also have our top buttons, which feel fine. They're kind of GameCube-esque in that when they bottom out, there's like a thick, like, press there at the end. Ooh, that ZL's feeling less clicky than the ZR. Don't know what that's for. There's a thing here. Oh. Can you just, like, mount it to the Wiimote? Is that what that's for? Because, yes, this does just plug into a Wiimote and gives you a more standard controller for your Wii. So this one is actually hilarious. So we have a Switch controller here. It's a PowerA Switch controller. Joysticks are a little beat, but honestly, some alcohol should clean that right up. This is the Zelda controller, if you can't tell by Mr. Linkle there. And it feels fine to me. Let's see if there's any battery corrosion. No, looks okay. The reason this is hilarious is I have this. I have an exact one of these that I use with my Switch. I don't have like a Pro controller. I just use this exact PowerA controller. Now I had a Pokemon one, but it got joystick drift. But we also were given the Zelda one, and they were like gifts. And so that's the one that I use. So maybe I'll have a third now. Yeah, the PowerA does like these weird kind of like sharp triggers, which I found bizarre. You don't notice. I will say I am noticing some, like, dirt there in the lettering. But, like, you don't notice those points. Your fingers are never on them. They're, like, here. So, like, it really doesn't mess with you at all. I really hope that one worked. I need more Switch controllers. And we are back to the Wii with the Epic Mickey paintbrush, although it appears to be missing its paintbrush. So we have a wooden designed nunchuck now, essentially. Joystick does look a bit grody. Alcohol's not going to clean that one up. I don't know if that rubber can just be replaced. It doesn't seem like it. But it works despite feeling grody. You can't click in Wii nunchuck joysticks, right? It doesn't feel like it. That or it's broken. But that seems fine. Z and C are fine. I'm guessing the only issue with this is that the actual head is just gone. I'm guessing that's the only problem. Like, our connector looks fine. Cable isn't as yellow as a lot of the others that we have seen, the one especially. That's an interesting sound. So once again, for the SNES, we have another controller, this being the Naki. So this one does have turbo features. All of our buttons seem to be okay. So we have normal, turbo, and slow. If you're not aware of how slow mode works on old consoles, it doesn't work on every game. In fact, in my experience, it doesn't work in most games. But all it does is it constantly hits pause over and over and over and over and over. So it's effectively slowing the game down by constantly pausing it, just rapidly. But a lot of games have like a bit more of a strict like pause screen, like it takes a second to pull up and a second to go away. So I'd say only games like Mario, it's probably fine. But a lot of games that I typically play, the slow is never really useful. But I guess to set it for turbo, you would just like set it for that, then you'd hold A or you'd hold B and it would just rapid tap them. We have both of our pads here. But the interesting sound is in this guy. Not sure if you can hear that rattling or not. Yeah, there's some broken plastic. Oh, I can actually guess what's broken. If you look here, these tabs are what hold it together, right? There's a tab there, not a tab there. Look on this side, same story. Tab there, not here. So those tabs are probably just loose inside of this connector, which I don't see why that would break it. It's just plastic. Again, these weren't like listed as broken controllers. It was just listed as untested, which on eBay usually means broken, but we actually want somebody to buy it, so we're just going to call it untested. Not that I'm accusing this seller specifically, it's just it's how it usually goes. But Seeker, this is a Pokemon channel. Where's the— Shut up, okay? I got you. Yeah, another one of these PowerA controllers, also seems to be fine. I will say this one is broken, though. I can tell you that off the bat, despite it being a really nice looking controller. But it's a really easy fix. See, if that Zelda one doesn't work, well, we just need to put its battery cover on here and we'll have, hopefully, a working controller. Yeah, these PowerA controllers, I forgot to mention, you also have this down here, these little buttons, AGR and AGL, for right and left. They're programmable. I don't remember exactly how to do it, but I think it's pretty simple. You, like, hold this button down, right? There's this third button here. You hold that down, and then you press, like, A, right? So you hold that, you hold R, and you press A. And now, this is also an A button. So while you're playing your game, instead of having to, like, if your finger's on this joystick, right, if you're using both joysticks, well, now you can use your middle finger to press that button instead of pressing A. So both thumbs are here, and you can still hit A. There are some games I actually made use of that feature for when I was, like, in my earlier days on the Switch, like when I was, like, shiny hunting, because then I could just play with one hand. Like, I could just one-hand shiny hunt using that button. Good God, we're back to the SNES again, with a lot more turbo features. So we have slow motion and off. Okay. But then you have all of your individual toggles, which, ooh, some of those are really hard to, like, that one is real tough. Like, some of these move a lot easier than others. But this is your toggle for your turbo. So all the way down would just simply be off. But if you set your frequency higher, on some controllers, if you set it to the medium slot, what it'll do is when you hold it, it rapid taps. On some, at the highest slot, it rapid taps faster, or it'll just auto hold the button. I believe it's, in my experience anyways, I don't use turbo very often. We have our D-pad. Again, this thing is dirty. The buttons feel fine. I think the only thing that's really messed up, that would be messed up, is going to be on these turbo switches here. Quality control passed. So this doesn't have any kind of branding on it, but there is our dirty connector right there. So here is probably the only controller that we won't be able to test. Yeah, it's for the Wii U. I am like a majority of gamers out there that didn't buy a Wii U. But my brother owned one, and I know he had a gamepad that looked very close to this. And I recall it being a lot more convenient to use than the actual gamepad, because that was the major failing of the Wii U. It seems fine. You have a built-in sync button, more modern tech, you don't have to have like a dongle or anything. Yeah, it seems fine, it's just scuffed and dirty, but I don't have a way of testing this one. I will say, as much hate as the Wii U gets, I don't hate this controller. Like, it feels really nice in the hand, like, for the grip. I just wish they had the offset joystick. Like, this is like PlayStation-style joysticks, and I don't care what Sony fans say. If you like that your joysticks are level, it's because you haven't used a normal controller for long enough. Because, my god, the offset joystick is so much better on the hands. Like, I don't care if you have large hands like me or small hands, it doesn't matter. Offset is just better. And yes, I know there's a point of preference, but man, if you got used to offset, you won't want to go back to that level crap. And Nintendo even knew that with the GameCube. Offset joysticks, brother, even if one is technically a C-stick. Wow, this thing is dirty. It also doesn't appear to be a official controller. There's no Nintendo logo there. Man, like, let me get a zoom in on that grime. Like, whoever used this, used it. And then put it in storage without it being in a, like, box. Aside from the dirt, C-Stick feels nice and fine. It's not sticking, despite the grime. D-pad works, joystick works. Well, at least feeling-wise. Triggers feel like the regular GameCube. I agree with, like, most people where they like the GameCube triggers. I wish they were a bit less tight. Like, when I'm playing a GameCube game with my carpal tunnel, that being that hard to press down does start to wear on my hands. Like, I do love the bottoming out feel of the GameCube triggers, but it's just a bit too much force for me, at least over a long period of time. That's also kind of harder to press. I don't know if that is designed that way with this off-brand, made in China GameCube controller. So believe it or not, I actually own this as well. It's slightly different than mine. I don't believe that was normally there. It was my first ever Switch controller that wasn't just the Joy-Cons. I got it because it was cheap. This looks a bit different than mine, but it's more almost like stubby. But it's very similar. Same color scheme, the rubberized handles. It feels fine, and what's even more... Oh, it still has power! It still has charge! Like, this thing holds it for a while, man. It does take USB-C to charge it, and they left the peel on it. So this thing couldn't have been that heavily used. Like, high hopes this controller works. And we are back with another non-branded Nintendo 64 controller. No kind of branding anywhere in sight. Z works, that looks nice and clean. This whole controller looks pretty dang clean. Ooh. When you hit it from the side, it kind of sticks down for a second. Like, I'm not sure if that sound is picking up. I do have a bunch of, like, sound filters on. That's a little bit crisp. B feels fine. C feels fine. Start, D-pad, joystick is in excellent condition. Like, my only issue I could see is that A button being kind of clunky. Like, if you didn't hit it straight, even hitting it straight on, it kind of sticks. That might just need a good cleaning. Alright, we're going back to GameCube with another, not official controller made by Play. Really gross looking. The C stick has lost its C. Now it is just stick. Buttons feel fine. These triggers aren't as hard to press. I'm more of a fan of those, and they still have, like, the bottoming out feature. Z feels fine. Aside from it being a bit gross and the C stick missing the letter C, it feels like a GameCube controller. No tears in the cable or anything. GameCube. Now we got a big boy. The Super Pad 64. It has turned kind of military green over time. I mean, that is a thonky joystick. It doesn't feel like it's broken. It's just like got a long stem on that guy. Like, you understand on the N64, like, these joysticks go down pretty deep. It's got a long stem on him. Buttons feel fine. Those feel fine. Z feels okay. Might have a little bit of gunk in our little expansion slot there, but not bad. I mean, my favorite N64 controller is cut off. You don't have the full nub on the sides. And I do have big hands. This is too much for me. Like, even with large hands. Like, I'm trying to press the Z button, my knuckle almost gets caught right here, right? Like, I'm hitting my knuckle on that, trying to hit Z, because the Z is so high up. I guess like, this is the tip of my finger, but then you don't really get a good, like, grip on it, right? Like, this, it feels bizarre. I don't think I would enjoy, like, you have to go so far to hit start, which, to be fair, you're not doing that often. I don't know. I don't think I'd enjoy this thing at all. And we have another NES controller. Once again, unbranded, no Nintendo logo. But it feels fine. If I had to guess, this lot of controllers might not actually have that many issues. It's probably from a seller who, like, when they get a hold of these consoles and they have unbranded controllers, he doesn't like to sell them with the unbranded controllers, right? If he's going to sell an NES, he wants the actual controller, or he just wants it to be in, like, a very clean condition. And this one is really not dirty, and it, I assume, would do the job. Buttons and everything feel fine. And here, we have another super pad. I guess my SNES is getting a lot of use today. Buttons, fine. Ooh, little bit. And every side feels the same, so maybe that's intentional. Bit of a rough D-pad, like harder to kind of get down. Feels fine. Super pad controller by Interact. Look, I'm interacting with it. Okay, another cut stem N64 controller. This one actually being clear and made by Yobo Gameware. And it has a floppy joystick. It likes to hang down. It might not have, like, drift, but it probably does. I gotta say, while it has a cutoffs here, they're still a bit longer than the controller that I use, and it has a long center stem. Like, that isn't entirely necessary. But I can at least reach the Z button with some level of comfort. We have a slow button on this guy, so that's interesting. There's probably an LED buried in here somewhere for it. There is clear and set. Okay. Everything seems okay aside from that joystick. Very small PCB in that guy. Another unbranded N64 controller, this time with the letter C. Buttons feel okay. Yep, that hard press that I just don't care for. We have our Z. Everything feels fine. Oh my god. We're almost out. But, oh, these are going straight in the trash. Luckily, they were in their own bag. Because, what am I looking at here? This rubber has just melted away. It's a rubberized off-brand Wiimote, but it is, like, crazy sticky. I had to, like, pry it out of the bag. It is PowerA. So I'm not sure if you can make it out underneath the styrofoam that's stuck to it. But we have a PowerA Wiimote that is going straight in the trash. There's a second one, too. Stick it back to the bag. Oh, my hands need cleaned. Yeah, I had to peel it off. Again, PowerA, this one's red. Just disgusting. Like, oh my god. PowerA, what kind of rubber did you use on it? Why did the seller even send that? And our last controller. We have a GameStop branded GameCube controller. And I kind of like the inverted C there. Your thumb kind of sits inside of it. Joystick's a bit old. Buttons feel fine. I think there's a little bit of dirt in there that, when cleaned out, would probably feel a bit better. Start, pause. Triggers are okay. They don't feel too bad. That works. But you might have noticed the issue. Those are some broken wires. I don't know if I really want to get my soldering iron out for this project. Alright, I guess now I need to get my little monitor hooked up and see what consoles I can set up on this guy. Alright, we have Pokemon Stadium 2 hooked up here. And we're going to start off with our N64 controllers, starting off here with the Yobo. So where would be the best place to test? Because it seems like our joystick isn't doing anything. I don't know if it's supposed to. Okay, joystick does work. It doesn't do anything in that main menu. Yeah, joystick seems fine. D-pad left, right. Yeah, up, down works. Triggers don't do anything here. Alright, I think the egg emergency requires the, triggers here. We know A and B work. Whoa, I got slow-mo turned on. Whoops. Okay, so this is what slow-mo do. Alright, my triggers work fine. God, I used to be so good at this game. During my honeymoon, me and, my new wife, we got, the Pokemon, well, we got the N64 thing going on the Switch, and we played all of the Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2 minigames. And I realized I am not as good at them as I used to be. No, I missed an egg! Oh, I suck. I like how I'm just playing a complete round of this. Okay, I only missed one egg. It's not terrible. Okay, my buttons seem to work. The thing is the C stick, right? The C buttons in this case. Which we should be able to test out in a free battle. I'm just gonna select some at random. Yep, let's bring a Bulbasaur, a Corsola, Dunsparce, Flaffy, Flareon, and a Gyarados. Because I'm not doing an entire... Ooh, okay, oh, this is for my enemy team. Okay. They also get a Bulbasaur. And a Dugtrio. And a Furret. And a Hoot. And a Jolteon. And lastly, a Magby. Okay, so somebody in the comments who's like a battle professional, let me know which team would should win here. I got two water types, not the best grouping there. Alright, so the C-stick work. It does. Alright, this controller is fully functional. Even if I don't care much for it. Wow, it is really hard to unplug. Okay, so next up is our Super Pad 64 by Performance. Alright, well, we know A works. Actually, let me give it a restart. I can test the start button in the main menu. Okay, so yeah, start works, A works. B doesn't do anything there, but I'm sure it's not really designed to. Okay, our D-pad here works. Okay, B is fine. Oh, I didn't test the joystick there. Whoops, it's fine. Let's go ahead and try out our bumpers here, or triggers. With modern terms, I'd say they're more bumpers, and yeah, they work perfectly fine. If anything, they feel kind of nicer, honestly, than the Yobo. Like, I don't know, it's almost like, there is a bit of a click to them, but it's like a soft click, and they're quick to trigger. Like, it doesn't take, it's a very, I don't know what the term is in keyboards, when you have like you know, certain switches that only require like a short stroke to work. I can't think of the travel time. Yeah, like the travel distance is very short on these, and I kind of like that. Oh, I didn't test out the joystick, which I have to do like in the minigame section because it doesn't work in the main menu for some reason. Ready. And yeah, our joystick works in all directions. Let's go to the stadium this time. It might be faster. Pokecup, Pokeball. Okay, I still gotta pick my Pokemon. Let's go with Cubone. And Espeon. And Goldeen. And Houndour. And Ladybug. And Natu. Perfect team. Perfectly balanced. No flaws in this team. Oh, I can only pick 3 Pokemon here. So I can do down, right, up. And then I can hit reselect. And left. Okay, so our C buttons work as well. So that is another fully functional N64 controller, even if it's a bit odd looking. Alright, and our last controller feels right at home. It's just your standard N64 controller, just not made by Nintendo. And start button and A, we both have confirmed as working. Let's go into White City. Where am I looking? I forgot where Chansey is. There it is. Alright, so first off, D-pad's perfectly fine. Joystick is perfectly fine. I have a feeling our only issue is going to end up being that sticking A button. And yep, my bumpers work. Yep, B works fine. Okay, let's get back to the stadium. I'm bringing an Articuno with me this time. Alright, down, right, up, all work, and left works. Alright, so I just need to clean out that A button, try to maybe like file it down, get it a bit less stuck. But that is all of our N64 controllers. Only one dud, and even then, it's still usable. It's just, you can't like rapid tap A because it's going to stick down for a second. You wait for it to pop up. And like, it is fast, right? Like, it is pretty quick to pop up. But you can see the issue here. All right, we are on to the Wii, and we're going to be trying out our wooden nunchuck here. The sensor bar is right off screen, and it's kind of hard to control because I have a bunch of equipment, like my microphone and my camera and the ring that I'm not even using right now. So I actually don't own that many Wii games, but this Tron game showed that it used the nunchuck. So if I can just get this sensor bar to work with me. Oh no, I have to use the pointer here too. Grid games. Free for all. I think that's what I clicked on. Which one is most likely to make use? Probably this one. I have to click accept on all of the profiles, but my sensor bar does not like letting me do this. Come on, accept it. There we go, there we go, there we go. Oh my god, I don't care what team they're on. I do not care. Join blue. You join blue. Join blue. Join orange. Come on, join orange. Do it. Yes. Oh my god! Yes, accept. Crater. Let's go to Crater. I don't think the Wii was meant for a screen this small. No, does it not use the... Alright, screw this game. Come on, let me into the Wii menu, please. Maybe bust move is the way to go. Why does it keep just disappearing? Just take me to Bust Move Bash, please. Oh my god, what would you even use this for? You use the remote to aim. I don't know how to test this thing. How did I not even think about Wii Sports? Let me, please. Alright, I just need to keep my hand in this position. Oh, this nunchuck may not work. So this nunchuck won't even be detected. So that one's busted. But my other little Mad Catz one is hooked up now. I don't think you'd really do much with the nunchuck itself, but you can swing with it. So the accelerometer works, and that's good enough for me. I'm done trying to test nunchucks. Maybe I just need to kill that light. Will that make it better? No? No. Maybe I need to kill those lights. Oh, that didn't help either. I don't know why my colors changed, but they did. So here's a really nifty little thing. When I plug the controller in... Come on, are you not gonna do it now? Are you not gonna do it now? You really gonna do this to me? I'm losing my mind. Okay, I told it the sensor bar is above my TV, and now it kinda works a bit better. Alright, now surely Mario is designed to work with the control pad. This is not supported. Why? You know what, I can already see, like, the joystick drift going on. I'm just gonna call this one busted, because I am so tired of messing with the Wii. Alright, we are on to GameCube, which means, yes, I'm still having to mess with the Wii, but I can get into GameCube games. I figured Naruto games tend to have a lot of menus, good chance to figure out what things do and do not work on here. Start button works. Up on D-pad, ooh. It takes a hard press to get it to do anything. Like down, nice and gentle. Up, like I'm pressing it. Pressing it real hard. Joystick is working though. A works, B works, left, right work fine. Okay, so Y works. Because Y does like color change. Alright, let's see. So, okay, C-stick does a reset when you go up. It like resets the fight. Other than that, it doesn't seem to do anything. X works. A, B, both of my triggers. I don't know if Z would be used by this game. So we have to assume that Z works. The only issue with this is you have to press that real hard to get it to activate. Alright, next controller. D-pad issues are not present. A works, B works, start works. Alright, we appear to be fully functional. A, B, X, and Y. Trigger, trigger, and Z still doesn't do anything in this game. The joystick does feel kind of wobbly, but it's not actually picking it up. So it's not actually enough to hit the sensor. It just feels kind of jank, right? But I mean, this controller seems fine to me. Just needs a thorough cleaning. I mean, I can plug in the GameStop one just for fun. See how it does with its torn wires. Hopefully not break my Wii. What do you know? It doesn't do anything. My Wii just shut off. I might have actually just broke my Wii. Okay, Wii is turning back on. Theoretically, that wasn't fake. I was panicked. I had to unplug it from power and plug it back in, and now it's fine. I could attempt to solder those wires. It is not worth it. This one is trash. I get that like motion is kind of the whole thing with the Wii, but I wish you could still use their menus without motion. But we are onto our last GameCube controller, the Play, which appears to be unable to skip this cutscene, unlike my other controller. Interesting. Ooh, start button doesn't work, or A, or anything else. This controller's bunk. And I can finally stop messing with the Wii. I started the recording, but I don't have the NES hooked up yet. Now, everyone loves the NES, and I have a massive NES collection. I have 8 Eyes, I have Gauntlet 2, and I have The Adventure of Link, which has been nice and written on. That's it. Look, Collector Brain said that I had to have an NES. It didn't say I had to use it. Also, maybe it's because I'm, like, still kind of sick that, by the way, I'm getting sick currently, that Wii section made me as irritable as it did. But I just took, like, an hour-and-a-half break. Oh, is Gauntlet 2 not gonna work? It could just not like the series of converters I have it running through. Like, the NES is doing its job. Alright, let's go with 8 Eyes. You know what? Gauntlet will work. It's been so long since I've used an NES, I forgot after you put the cartridge in, you gotta, like, lower it down. But if you're not aware, yeah, it's kind of hard to get on camera because everything's plugged in. Cartridge goes in, like, you insert it in there, and then you click it down. Maybe it's still not going to work. Hey, I got it! Okay, so D-pad is functional. B is functional, and, let's see here, pause. Okay, pause works. It is like a pretty old classic style of pause. You hit the button and it just pauses. Select does the same thing, but CRD pad is functional. Ooh, 8-axis. Gauntlet, you spoil me. Speed of fire, but A doesn't seem to do anything. It could be that A just doesn't do anything in this game, but usually when you have a game like this, where it's like only one button, oh my god, where only one button is required to do stuff, they'll just make both buttons do the thing. Like, A isn't needed to, like, interact with that key. Oh, okay, I had to press A to exit. Maybe it just did it by itself, but I think that required pressing A. Also, it's Gauntlet. You play the Archer. That's just how it works. I'll accept Valkyrie, but Archer is the correct answer. I wish I could just place torches around the spawner to prevent it from doing its thing. Okay, does that hurt me if I, like... No, it's just an effect. I got another key. Oh, leave me alone, buddy. Stop it. Stop it. Oh, crap. Okay, those guys can shoot at me. Oh, what is that? Okay, gotta avoid the red. Good to know. I haven't played a Gauntlet game in so long. Alright, avoid the red. Ooh, ghost. 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 I just need to get somewhere where the A button is required. Oh, okay. That was interesting. Little frog attack there. Oh, God. Mob spawners, please. Stop spawning. Oh, come on. No, I can do this. I don't need your help, game. Why can't I okay, I can destroy the mob spawners. What? I didn't know that was an option. Yeah, you can destroy the spawners. That's cool. Alright, so if I just stand on it, do I exit? Or, okay, so that didn't require an A input. So this game is not allowing me to test out the A button. Maybe 8 Eyes is what we need. I think my console might just need a good cleaning. That or all 3 of my cartridges are all just a bit older. I mean, obviously, but in worse wear. Fine, I'll get the alcohol and the Q-tips. We'll just turn it on and see if it happens to fix it. Oh my god! I was about to say, maybe it'll, like, just start running while I'm gone. No, it just started running immediately. Yes, I can jump! In case you're wondering, 8 Eyes is literally just like a Castlevania clone. Apparently, people liked it. That's about all I can say about it. How do you enter door? Not pause. There are only so many buttons. How do I... Let me in the door. Oh, door opened. Okay, well, this controller do work. Not that I'm good at classic-style Castlevania games. Give me my whip. Why do I have this wimpy little sword? Well, that is a perfectly functional NES controller for my not perfectly functional NES. Oh, if you guys are wondering why there's no audio, this little thing does have speakers. But I'd have to, like, balance as I'm going, as I'm just coming into the same microphone, and that'd be annoying. But conveniently, this thing only runs VGA, so I have to convert it to VGA. VGA doesn't carry an audio signal. Although I did have a theory. There is like a jack in the back. I wonder if I can take our audio cable from the NES and just hook it straight into that audio jack, if that'll just give us at least like one channel audio maybe. Okay, I didn't like that. Anyways, this dumb thing now, I suppose. Oh, I am now playing the wizard. Okay, so I can just do this to fire, left hand to kind of move. So there's an auto fire button. Ah, that's kind of nifty. And I can just hold the button down and just spray. But all directions work, and that I just kind of was curious if this would be like better for Gauntlet, because you have the 8-directional axis, right? I feel like this little thing might actually work better than a standard NES controller for this, with it not being like a D-pad, right? It's more of like a trackpad kind of setup. Oh wait, hold on, auto fire, go! Fire for me, I don't want to have to do it. Like, you can even fire diagonally, right? Because of the 8-axis. I don't know, something about D-pads with 8-axis, my hand just don't like. Like, I can never get around it. Like, if I have 8-axis and I need to use the 8-axis, I typically prefer, like, a joystick. And this is more joystick-like than a D-pad. It doesn't mean that I care for this form factor. I mean, I'm, like, hugging my own hand back here. Like, I don't care for the form factor, but it's not bad. I could see certain NES games, like, really getting some benefit from this little controller. But we still have to test out A. Which, interestingly, they don't label what the buttons are on this. Hey, we got the Adventure of Link working. And A works. Cool. Now I can go Hoppy mode thanks to auto fire. I am Hoppy Link. I should note the microphone is cutting off, like, it's like putting a wall, like, that big. Like, all of this is just being covered in microphone for me. Oh god. Oh, don't. Oh, come on. Okay, there we go. I'll see what can I do about that when he's already on me. I found a town. Oh! Ooh, I think it's stuck down. I'm trying to get it to stick, but it's not doing it now. Oh, there it goes. So there is a problem. If you press it kind of towards, like, this bottom side, you can even kind of see where it gets stuck down. That could literally just be like a flaw in the original design. 'Cause yeah, you could do that with this one too. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, that's just the flaw in the design. Maybe I could, like, sand them down to get them to stop sticking. Interesting. Okay, next up is SNES. Starting off with our beat-up super pad with a chewed-up button right there. But it might still be functional at the very least. So we're going to do Star Fox to test this one. Alright, pressing start worked. Why can't I choose my control input? Okay, I can do this though. That's weird. Let's go straight into game. God, I love the Star Fox series. It's so sad that they're just letting it die too. Like, they could do so much with this. Alright, so let's get testing. Okay, no, we're still in a cutscene. Come on. Alright, left, right, down, and up. Obviously, pause works. Does select do anything? Alright, both of our bumpers work. X gives me a boost, and that seems to be functional. A shoots a bomb, that is functional. B doesn't seem to do anything. Y is regular shoot. So B we can't test, and select we can't test. Well, sadly, this game won't be good for testing. But how about Dragon's Lair? Okay, so select works for starting that screen, so we know that select works. B, skip to the cutscene. I believe we are good to go. God, I don't even know why I own Dragon's Lair. This is not a game I will ever be able to beat, like, by any means. Well, like, wasn't the whole point of Dragon's Lair is that, like, it's a very artsy game, but it's also, like, very hard? Also, it was like originally an arcade game, that's why it looks so good. On the SNES, like, I mean, it looks good for an SNES game, but it doesn't have that same feel to it, you know? Maybe I can get some new buttons for that and clean this up. I figure a Killer Instinct is probably a good way to test out the potential turbo features of this controller. Alright. D-pad, fully functional. Y works. B works. Okay. My triggers work. X. A. Ooh, okay. And then these are additional L and R. So if your triggers didn't work, you would have that as a backup, I suppose. But if we turn our frequency up for our left trigger, it is, in fact, turboing. So, bam. We turn on slow-mo. Now I can watch myself lose in flashy mode. And all that's doing is it's pausing over and over. That's why the sprites are flashing, is because it's just pausing over and over and over. Ooh, I can't really test select, can I? Let's see if select can interact with anything in the main menus. Maybe there's like a training mode I could go into to kind of test all my turbo switches here. Yeah, I want to play as Glacius. And yeah, select works. Cool. All right, so L turbo, go. It might be clunky, but it works. A turbo. R turbo. Y turbo. X turbo. And we already know about... Oh, is L not working now? There we go. And L turbo. So I believe we have a fully functioning turbo controller here. Killer Instinct proved to be a good test for turbo, and once again we have that as an option on here, along with slow, but this time both being on the same toggle with the Naki controller. A bit wider than your standard, but it honestly doesn't feel too bad in the hands. I wish it was a bit thicker. Okay, start and select both work. Alright, and all directional pads functional, L and R are functional, X, Y, B, and A. Now if I turn on turbo, is that just going to turbo? Yeah, it's going to turbo whatever button you're holding down. So it's not just going to keep spamming it. You still have to hold the action. But it is in fact turboing. But then we also have slow. What? If you press start in practice mode, it immediately backs you out. So slow mode does seem to work. Just not for that game mode. So now in a standard game mode, let's slow mode. Yes, seizures. Yes. Make fighting game easier, but a lot more flashy. I actually don't hate this all Naki controller. I just wish it was a little bit thicker, but not bad. The reason I want it thicker is like right now it can kind of rest between my fingers like that, right? It's kind of like between like the inverse knuckle there. I wish it would kind of go a bit past that knuckle. I feel like it would be more firm in my hand, if you understand what I mean by that. Like to stick down a little bit further, like a little bit over that middle knuckle. I grabbed all of my SNES games, but I think Killer Instinct is just the easiest one to test these with. Because like if I went with like a platformer, like it wouldn't realistically make use of every button, right? Which is unlikely to. Alright, back in Killer Instinct with our last SNES controller, the Super Pad by Performance. We've had a handful of things by performance in this video. Forgot to mention that one where I was like, oh, the button's a bit chewed. I could get, you know, a replacement button for it. There's not really a point, like, the money I would spend on that, sure, it'd be cheaper, probably. Then, ooh, we're not doing anything here. Could it be a short in the cable? While I'm testing this cable, it could be an issue with, there's a chance it would be cheaper, right? But it's probably better just to buy a new controller at that point. And I don't really need more SNES controllers. Not only do I not use this thing that often, I have a good amount of SNES controllers. Yeah, okay. I feel like I started to do something there. But no, that's just the text pulling. I'm gonna give it a reset. But I'm pretty sure this one is not feeding any signal to the SNES, which likely means we have a broke wire in here, maybe the board is like burned out, because it looks like I can't even skip this introduction here. Yeah, this one's bunk. Still, 3 out of 4 on SNES, not bad. Okay, I didn't feel like bringing my entire dock in here. I literally just got it reset in my living room the other day. So... Find new controllers. We're gonna... I believe you have to hold down the sync button on this guy, if I remember correctly. You don't do the L and R. Maybe I'm wrong. But we have power, so that's a good sign. Ah, there we go. Okay, it found it. Now, I have been playing a lot of Unicorn Overlord lately, so let's see. D-pad, functional. Let's go to items. D-pad both directions is functional. Bumpers are functional. Where could I possibly use the triggers? Right here. Triggers are both functional. Joystick works fine. Not seeing any kind of drift or stickiness. I didn't even know you could do this with the map, but if you use the right joystick, you can move around the map. Good to know. So B is normally to run. I have auto run turned on, but now B is to slow down. B works. Let's see here. Y. Yep, holds up the text log. X pulls up my unit formations. That's still working. Select should be my overworld map, which, good God, this game is massive. I've barely even dug into this next country here. Pause is, of course, that regular pause menu. I believe we have a fully functioning controller. Let's just make sure A works, and it do. So I think we have a perfectly good PowerA Zelda Switch controller, which somebody bought at one point for $1. I didn't. We bought this from an eBay lot, if you recall. I think some alcohol might clean up those joysticks a little bit. Aside from those, this thing is perfectly fine. Wasn't there like a thing in here to like test for joystick drift? Yeah, like this thing is perfectly fine. This is the left joystick. I thought there was a way to do this. Let me try to get my camera to focus on the Switch screen, please. I guess it's more focused on me and the reflection. Hello. Seems fine, and yeah, I'm just using a phone to record this. Cool. Alright, and right joystick, perfectly fine. Returns straight to center immediately. So joysticks are fully operational, unlike on my other Pikachu controller. This one's fine. See, now I can actually emote, because you can see my face. You can't... There, now you can see my mouth. Like, now I can actually, like, emote when I'm talking. I remember a long time ago, I played around with the idea of, like, having a face cam when I, like, film my videos. And I just didn't like it. I didn't think it really added anything. So if you're, like, an active viewer of my channel, if you think this is, like, a faceless channel, it's not. I just don't usually have a reason to show my face. Like, my face is shown in videos. Like, it's not some mystery. Alright, now we have our golden Pikachu controller hooked up. There we go. Yeah, this phone's focus doesn't like to work so well. But neat. Alright, so once again, we just go to change grip / order and just hold down L and R. No sync button required, it seems. Alright, let's see if this one is functional as well. At least the joysticks are cleaner on this one. Fully functional joystick. Of course, we'll play around with the calibration here in a minute. If I do X, we go to my unit list. If we do Y, we get the text log. If we do B, we stop sprinting. If we do right trigger, we get our quest log. Left trigger doesn't do anything here. We need to go to character list. And left trigger is functional. If we, what is it? Bumpers. Where did I go for bumpers? Is it formation? Yeah, bumpers are functional. Oh, I guess I need to do, oh, that's the home button. I didn't think to do that earlier. Yep, screenshots work too. Let's see here. Character list, D-pad, fully good to go. And then just make sure our A works, and yep, we can definitely interact with things. This controller also seems to be perfectly fine, and it is just a very nice looking, if it can just like at least attempt to focus on it. There we go. Like, very nice looking, you know, like golden reflective Pikachu controller. But I guess our last test, we need to go to our system settings, go back down. Oh wait, controllers and sensors. I'm stupid. Test input devices. Test controller buttons. That's different. I didn't know you could just do that on the Switch. Okay. No drift of any kind that I can tell. Goes right to the border of the stick. Recenters perfectly every time. Even when I try to do it a bit slower and try to get it to stick, like at the edge, it's fine. So let's go back and try to do the other stick. And, ooh, that was kind of weird. Ooh. Ooh, what is that about? Look, I am just holding the joystick. Ooh. Like, I'm just slowly going more and more up towards that corner. And when I hold it there, it knows that's what I'm doing. When I start going down... Ooh, that's not good. What about this axis? Perfectly fine there. And this axis? Oh, doing the same thing. It keeps thinking I'm going low. It might just need a good cleaning. Alright, I guess this controller has an issue with the right stick. So, I believe that we did it okay, but I have a handful of things that I need to work on, clean out, yada yada. It'll probably be done slowly over time. I don't know how long it's gonna take for me to get this video out. But I think this one is gonna be my first priority. Alright, let's jump forward in time now. Just kidding, I lied. I forgot this one. I had it charging in another room. It does show me battery life there. Joystick, functional, woo, Y works, X works, A works, let's go to Items, D-pad works, bumpers work, back to character list, triggers work, B works, can't do, yeah, I already did D-pad, why is that the screenshot button? Anyways, home works, pause works, select works. So let's go to home, back to here, and we seem to have, it's a bit sensitive, I'll say that. This joystick's a lot more sensitive than the others. But it does what it's supposed to do. There's no drift, it's sitting right dead center. It's doing what I would want it to do. And then let's do our other stick, and same story. No issues with it like teleporting around like it did on the Pikachu controller. So we have another functioning Switch controller. I just don't care for the fact that it needs to be charged. Like, most people like that feature because you don't have to like constantly buy batteries for it. But honestly, batteries have gotten pretty cheap. And I just like the convenience of batteries over having to charge them. And oh no, my controller's dead. Let me go let it charge for an hour. Like, yeah, you could charge it while you're playing, but you have a charger nearby. And if my controller dies, I can just throw batteries in it and go. Actually, on my computer, I just use wired controllers. But another winner. Okay, repair time now. Goodbye. All right, I've decided that I really want this guy to work. I mean, it has the cleaner joysticks. It has the nice Pikachu design. Although you can see where a little bit's rubbed off from some like hand sweat. Is not bad. So it's worth noting, I have never taken one of these apart before. I don't know the correct way to do it. We're just gonna start diving in, ripping out screws. So my theory is just that that joystick needs cleaned, right? It might just have some dirt in it, some gunk in it that's causing it to kind of point in the wrong direction. I'm hoping that is the case. Oh, my bit's not long enough to get in there. I mean, it is if I do it like that. So if I can just kind of lightly put that on the end, yeah, and get my torque. I know it's not really in focus. I'm more focused on actually taking it apart than necessarily capturing it on camera. Did that do it? Okay, maybe it's high up enough now. Oh yeah, it is. There's our screw. I guess I'll have to do that again for this one. So we just put the bit in. If you ever taking something apart and you have the same kind of issue, you could do it this way, right? Get the bit in onto the screw, then just use your fingers as a guide to just get the bottom of the bit just kind of a little bit into the shaft and hope that it doesn't require much pressure. And you can just start backing it out. In some cases, what I've done in the past, especially with like power tools like drills, is I'll actually take a little bit of paper and I'll put it in the screwdriver socket to kind of force the bit to stand out a bit further. Like, I could just buy the right tools for the job, but why do that when I can make the wrong tools into the right tool? Okay, I did a bit of mining off camera, but that should be all of our screws out. And, ooh, there it goes. All right, very plain, simple back shell right there. Just have to be careful to get those springs from the backboard right into that little slit for the batteries. As long as those line up, I should be good to go. So it's this joystick that we're worried about, which clearly we have to get under this board to get access to. Okay, there are only 2 screws holding the board in. And wow, that just comes out as one piece. Let's try to keep all of our buttons in place there. And right here is our concerning joystick. So I'm thinking, with that removed, yep, that'll just pop right off of there. And let's see, so right there, you can see our little micro switch. When you press down on the joystick, that's the button that you're pressing. But you have 2 potentiometers for both different directions. So you can kind of see right there, that piece turn as I move that, and then the same with this one. So if you're going in like a circle, right, you'll see this one move a little bit, this one move a little bit. It's a combination of these 2 coordinates with those potentiometers that tells your joystick which way is going. So it looks like if I don't want to desolder this thing, this is as far apart as I can take it in order to clean out this joystick. Now, I'm not too keen on putting alcohol in there, but I can just kind of get some air in that. I'm not going to try to do it on this desk. I'm going to blow screws everywhere. All right, so simple air, blow it out. I guess I'm going to see if I can't get it running, although getting battery is going to be a little hard to do. But I can just get it back in this shell, make sure those line up. There we go. Put batteries in it, see if that fixed our issue. If not, we go the alcohol route. All right, let's turn our switch on. I know it's kind of far away. Get it to focus on the switch back there. All right, communication error. I understand. Yep, I would like to calibrate this joystick. Oh, that is all it took. Oh, maybe not, maybe not. To be fair, it doesn't actually have the... Let me throw this back on. No, it's still jumping a bit. Yeah, it's still getting a bit of that wavy effect going on. Mostly like around this little coordinate right here. So I'm thinking we go in with a... Ooh, that's some crazy jumps happening. Yeah, I think we go in with a alcohol. Why don't we just try and see how their calibration works? Recalibrate if there's a problem. Calibrate. Cannot be calibrated. Had a feeling it's just a PowerA controller. It's not an official Nintendo controller. So, we go in with alcohol. 70% isopropyl alcohol acquired, along with some Q-tips. Just gonna saturate the end of that Q-tip. I did remove the batteries. I'm not that dumb. Let's just try and get it where we can. If I can kind of get it to, like, drip feed just a little bit into there. Maybe I could try... Yeah, I can actually get between the stick there a bit. There is some gunk. All right, there. I was able to saturate it a lot more that time around. Let's just get some alcohol in there, kind of move it around as I do. Try not to get any of the Q-tip material, the cotton in there, preferably. I don't think doing anything in this end is going to help, but if I can try and drip feed a little bit of alcohol into it while I do that, then it could assist us. I should note, while I was a technician for 8 years and I am now in IT, small electronics are not something I had to deal with that often. So you're not really watching a professional here today. I guess we'll just try it, see if we can try to do some more treatment if it still doesn't work. Get that back on, reinsert our batteries, get us paired, and focus on the switch, please. All right, it's looking clear. No funny business. I think we're good to go, boys. I think that is all it took. This is the upside of Hall effect joysticks, is this, drift and these little, like, hallucinations, I guess is a good word for it. We used to call it, like, teleporting or warping with potentiometers that we would deal with arcade games. But it's effectively the same idea, right? With Hall effect, you can still get joystick drift. I don't know why people think that you can't. You can. It's just a lot less likely. My thing is, when it happens with these, there are ways to fix them if you know how, such as just blowing them out or alcohol. There are solutions. With Hall effect, to my knowledge, there's not much you can do when drift happens. It's just more secure because it rarely happens. But we fixed this controller. I think we are good to go. It's not doing that teleporting, drifting, warping effect. It's just kind of going where I tell it to go. I am satisfied with this. Hell yeah. Alright, so we got to pop our board back out of the shell. Oh, we should probably remove the batteries first in order to do that. That might help. Put our front face right back down where it was. Take our board out of here. Oh, careful. Flip it around and put it back where it belongs in the front half of the shell. So of course, if you have a PowerA controller, you have similar issues, you can always try it. Your mileage may vary, but I will say it's a very easy teardown. I'm not having to remove cables, I'm not having to remove ribbons. It's interesting, I just realized there are ports here. See those little slots? Those are for vibration motors, but there is no motor there. In fact, I don't even see where a motor, was soldered and taken off or anything. I'm okay with it. I'm one of those weird people who doesn't like rumble, and I turn it off in most games anyways. But to be fair, I don't even know if my other PowerA controllers have rumble or not. I don't care, because again, I don't use it. To be fair, there are some games where rumble is effective. It actually is beneficial to what you are doing in the game. I just find those games pretty far and few between, and I just find the vibration annoying. I will say that, the Joy-Con rumble was exceptional. That was, a big claim to fame of theirs, and it was crazy what they could do with it. But it's not like every game really used it to its fullest extent. I still, most of the time, just end up turning it off. I also haven't bothered to purchase a PS5. When I say not bothered, I mean I'm poor, make fun of me. Now, I could afford a PS5, it's just I don't have a need for one. There are no games on that console I need to play. The only reason I really stick with Nintendo still is because I kind of have to, right? They don't put their stuff on PC, so I kind of have to stick with them. I do have an Xbox One, like a base model Xbox One that I got when I was trying to decide if I wanted the PS4 or the Xbox One. I went with the Xbox One because not only was it cheaper at that point in time, I know a lot of the times the PS4 was actually cheaper. At that point in time, the Xbox One is cheaper, but on top of that, Final Fantasy 15 was coming to the console. As well as Kingdom Hearts was actually announced to be coming to it, and not just PlayStation for the very first time. So then, that's kind of equal, right? Price difference, Xbox is the better deal. But Xbox also had Halo, which of course I am a massive fan of, and they had a game, I can't remember the name of it, somebody in the comments might have to help me. It was a really cool looking game. It looked like Devil May Cry with dragons. Like, kind of like the art style, I suppose, was kind of Devil May Cry-esque. That game looked so cool. I was so hyped for it. It was an Xbox exclusive, and it got canceled. It didn't just get canceled. They removed all of the trailers and aspects of that game from the internet. They wanted you to forget that that game was ever in production, that it was ever announced. Xbox did not want you thinking about that game. Those screws aren't going in. Oh, because I already put them in. I'm stupid. I'm just trying to screw a screw into a screw. Yeah, the newest Xbox I own is an Xbox One. The newest console from Sony that I own is a PlayStation 2. I actually own 3 of them. It's a long story. But technically the newest Sony device I own is a PS Vita. And my Switch is still the original Switch. It's not the OLED, it's not even the red box Switch, which looked the same, but was actually, had a bunch of improvements to it. Nope, I bought my Switch, and then like a couple months later, the red box Switch became a thing, and I'm like, man, I waited so long to get this console, I couldn't have waited just a bit longer. But hey, we have a fully functional, awesome controller here. I'm sure it's like a $30 controller, but I'm happy. Okay, let's do this nunchuck. So this is the one that had no connection to the actual Wiimote. This assembly looks like it is literally just that one screw. I don't think there's really gonna be anything I can do to this. Like, I'm hoping just to see like a broken wire or something, and that could fix it. But I doubt there's much I can really do. I'm guessing this ring right here kind of holds it in place. So if I kind of like spread those two apart, it's still holding in pretty well. I don't see any other place a screw could be hiding in this. That little cap doesn't like come off, or at least not easily. It won't anyways, it has that piece in the way. Okay, I'm trying to go off of a Reddit post. That's the closest thing I can find to a teardown. I got that far, like I figured that out before I looked it up. There are just like some catches there. But it looks like they're saying that there are tabs under this. So they said, thin screwdriver to pry underneath this right here. Oh my god, I got it. More off-camera mining. This piece is where the clips are. I thought they were talking up here. I mean, I definitely... Oh, sorry, it's not really on camera. I definitely chipped the plastic a fair amount, but I got it open. Good god. And I'm not seeing any broken cables. Woo! I don't know why I thought this would be the easiest one. Like, holy god, it wasn't. Future note, you only see one screw and you think it's like a hinged design or something. It's not. It's not that easy. Okay, looking underneath, that's an interesting little solder job right there. Not sure how well you guys can see that. That's kind of a mess on that white cable. But I mean, it should work fine. There's also that tab right there. Okay, that's just holding in the potentiometer on both sides. Doesn't really need soldered, I suppose. That right there, though, all of this, yeah, that screams liquid damage to me. I think this board is toast. Like, that is just straight up, like, gunked on there. Well, we got it apart. Oh god, is that even more? Yeah, oh, that's kind of, like, still a little sticky. They definitely spilled some stuff in here. That doesn't just look like your usual, like, flux to me. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but I've seen enough liquid damage in my time. So, I'm gonna put this one back together and call it a bust. Okay, so this SNES controller, the Super Pad by Performance, I labeled as dead because the console couldn't even pick it up. I don't know if that's really what I should call it. It's more of just that it's not connecting. I figured we'd try the same thing that we tried with that nunchuck and just see if we can't do something to this. Luckily, unlike that nunchuck, it won't be a pain to take apart. If you're wondering, obviously I cut a lot of things out. That was about a 20-minute segment, not including me, like, rebuilding it off camera. Like, it was a 20-minute recording for that one. I'm obviously recording this in parts, because, like, oh, when I'm testing them, I have to, like, put the console back up, go in my other rooms. I accidentally store those consoles in this room. Bring it in here, get it all hooked up, make sure, the console works, whatever. Like, obviously, I stopped the recording. This is number 10. This is the 10th recording for this video. My plan was actually to do these repairs on, like, a different day, but nah, I'm gonna power through. I wanna get all these done. I don't care if I'm, like, kind of ill. What's interesting is that the Wii section made me angry, and I should clarify, I probably made some Wii people angry with that. I'm not feeling well. I am under the weather. And dealing with motion on the Wii, when it's not, like, configured right, because, like, I'm trying to do it on a small screen that the Wii wasn't really made for, and, like, man, I just want it to work. Most of that anger came from the fact that the Wii menu and most of the Wii games, you have to use the pointer, right? Even if you don't need the pointer later on, like, oh, I want to play a GameCube game. Well, sorry, you have your GameCube controller plugged in. You gotta get your Wiimote hooked up, make sure your sensor bar's hooked up, and use it to click the button. Like, that's where most of my irritation came from. Like... Anyways, ooh, very simple brown PCB in here. So let's take this screw out, kind of put it away from the others. But anyways, aside from that Wii section, which did make me a little bit upset, my voice kind of cracked there, this has actually kind of been a blast. It's probably going to be a crazy long video, but it's kind of making me forget that I'm, currently getting ill. Alright, take out both of our triggers. They are labeled. I see an empty cable port there, which, to be fair, it's not labeled either, so it's likely not needed. So, let's take this out. Oh, my rubber fell out. It's probably going to on both. It's fine. And let's inspect. Why? Why did they do that? They pinned them. There's no need. See that, like, silver right there? You can see where it's crimped together. They pinned these, and then shoved them through and soldered them. I mean, it'll work, but there was literally no point in doing that. Unless, like, they actually, like, clip in somehow? I can't imagine that's the case. I mean, all of the cables feel tight. Like, none of them are trying to, like, pull out of the pin or anything. If we get a better look at the soldering job, there's a gap in that one. Probably not the best connection. But I don't see it causing an issue. Mostly, I just don't want to get the soldering iron out. To be fair, I don't even know where my soldering iron is anymore. I mostly just have to solder at work, not really at home. It looks fine. I just have to assume that it's the board. You know what? I can go to my car and get my multimeter and just run continuity, because luckily they make it really simple, right? You have 7 pinouts here with only 5 cables, which is interesting. But we should be able to get continuity because it's a very simple pinout here, just between the cable here and this end. So I can test the back end first, then test it from the solder joint, and see if we're getting continuity all the way through. Okay, got my meter right here, and let me get a bit closer. When these touch, you can hear some beeping. Just in case people don't know how to use a multimeter, especially for continuity, probably the easiest test you can run. So the idea is that it's passing a very small amount of electricity from one end of, like, out one end and in the other, right? So you'll hear that beeping if the electricity is making a full circuit around. I don't even know if that's deep enough to really make a connection, but we'll see. Not getting anything on that one. It might not be deep enough. Nothing there either. Alright, might have to do a little trick here. Perfect, this has continuity. So, this little stick should do the job. It has a very pointy end. We're just gonna shove that in there. And that should be going deep enough. Then we'll loop that right in the hole in the end of the rod. If I can get it to like somewhat stay in place. Kind of hard to do with only 2 hands. Sadly, my assistant is currently in the shower. Alright, so loop that through. And we're not getting anything on those pins. Try to stab it into the next hole. Nothing on those pins either, really. Alright, we got continuity on pin number 2 right there. Okay, so if we move on, so pin 2 is hole 4. Alright, we have continuity on pin 3, hole 3. So hole 2, nothing. Oh, wait, there we go. Alright, right there on pin 3 before my lead fell out. Nothing out of hole 1. Go back to the beginning, because this whole spike might not be quite touching the metal in there. Alright, we got continuity on our last pin, so what was that? 2, 3, 4, and 5? So we know 5 is good at the very least. I'm kind of losing track of what was what. Alright, well we know that 5 was good. Let's just keep testing pins. Alright, so 2, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1. Okay, we are getting continuity all the way down the line. So, all of our solder joints are perfectly fine. They make it straight from the plug right into the board. At least the wire is fine at the very least, but the solder joints look fine. Nothing is like loose or anything. So, I think we just have a dead board. I mean, we have what looks like it could be some water damage around that trace right there, too, both around those solder points. Yeah, I'm guessing it's just our board. Okay, sorry for the accidental ASMR here. It is currently 4 a.m. I am determined to get this video done. In case you're wondering, the total recording time was 3.5 hours that I have to go through. But I'm sure some of you might be thinking, well, hey, what if there's a short? I don't know why I didn't think to test for that. So I actually just broke the controller down again, and I tested for a short between those pins, and I did not find one. That's about it. Back to the video. Alright, next up we have this GameCube controller, which the D-pad going up took a very hard press to activate. Again, if I had to guess, probably not a whole lot we can really do about this guy, but let's see. Luckily, all just Phillips screws. Oh, and those aren't too deep. Thank God. Oh no, our warranty label. Oh no. Anyways. There's our board. It doesn't appear to be screwed in at all. Interesting. Also a top vibration motor, not even down in the handles. I guess you're gonna have to do that on this spindly little handles on this guy. Alright, and right there is our D-pad. So if we take that off, why was this so hard to press? It doesn't really look damaged to me. The rubber seems perfectly fine. Like, it hasn't gotten, like, worn down or anything. Looking at the board kind of tells the same story. I guess I can try and, like, liven it up with a bit of alcohol. So let's get some alcohol right there on the contact pad. Might as well get the ones next to it while we're at it. No harm in doing that. Okay. Nice and shiny. Then we mostly just want to focus on this top one. My Q-tip's kind of gone dry. All right, let's get some alcohol in each of these. Again, the top one is my biggest concern, but might as well try and liven it up a bit. Might help our issues. Hopefully, alcohol doesn't break down whatever kind of rubber they use. Interestingly, there's not really a system that holds this in place. Like, it has a hole, like it's made to be screwed down. I'm guessing this was just repurposed from another controller that they design. Because, like, that doesn't quite reach anything that would hold it in place. That's kind of sketch. Oh, no, wait, I'm dumb. I was looking at the back of the shell. It should hold in right here. So if I just go, boop, bam, it is back in place over the D-pad. So if we look at the D-pad hole here, I don't see any kind of obstructions or messed up plastic in the mold. There's a little tab right here. It's a flat spot, so you put it in the right way. Not that it really matters, but that tab could be a bit of an issue, maybe. Okay, tab has been filed down. So that should be fine, if that even was the issue. So let's throw that back in here. Then where'd my rubber go? I lost it. Oh, there it is. Get our rubber back in place right there. Oh, what's this cardboard that was in there? I assume that had a purpose, but God knows what it was for. Alright, that's basically all that we can really do. Our contact has been cleaned off, which I think is going to be the biggest potential improvement. I gotta get the shell set back in. Bam, there we go. My Z button did come out though, so I'm gonna try and get it back in place. Try and make sure everything is secured in place, because there are no screws that hold this entire board down, which is just a really cheap way of doing things. That broken plastic right there. Might be. Hard to tell. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, I gotta take the board back out. That blows. Okay. This cable has to run underneath the board. I know it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing. Oh, come on. Everything's falling apart. I just lost that rubber. All right, go back on the buttons. It's kind of where you're supposed to be anyways. You shouldn't really be on the other side. Oh, this sucks. Okay, there goes our start button rubber. What a crappy design. At least for repairability. All right, so lift the board up. Get those cables underneath. Come on. Go underneath, buddy. Oh, come on, go underneath. There we go. Then feed it around that loop. Lift the board back up again. All right, our board is in place with our cable in there properly. Now our Z button's back out again. Okay, so the Z button barely even holds in. On this side, there's almost no gap for the pole to go in. There's barely even a pole. It's mostly going to be held in by the other side. So now comes the fun part. Make it easy. Just go on nice and easy. Oh, yeah. All right, that back shell is much easier to put on than I expected. Z button is still nice and clicky. All right, I think we got everything back in place. Now, I don't know how similar those internals are to a regular GameCube controller. So if you're trying to disassemble your normal GameCube controller, maybe don't use me as a guide. At the same time, why are you using me as a guide at all? iFixit is pretty much always the way to go. Like, I guarantee you, they have a guide on how to disassemble your GameCube controller. That's not really what this video is for. Like, you might learn some stuff along the way watching this video, but it's not really a tutorial. It is in the entertainment category on YouTube, for a good reason. Not that pretty much anyone ever pays attention to what category a video is in. Alright, it has been rebuilt. This is one I'll have to actually hook back up to the console to test it, so this will be tested a bit later in the video. Alright, we are nearing the end. Next, we have this whole NES controller, which wasn't bad. The buttons would just kind of stick up there in the corners. This one looks like it'll be easy to take apart. We'll see if that's actually true, because we were proven wrong once. Screw number 2 and screw number 3. And I think there's a clip in here. Alright, so luckily we don't have to go taking this old board apart. Clearly this tape has failed in its job. But it's just these buttons I'm worried about. Ooh, they're kind of sticky on the side. I wonder if that could be part of the issue. Interesting. So all I'm really doing is I'm filing down these corners here, if I can get like a little zoom on that. Just so there's a little bit more space between these corners and their gap in the controller itself. So if we kind of compare that corner to this one here, you can kind of see the goal is to like round it out a bit more and just kind of shrink it back. Mostly on the top end is kind of where it gets caught at. Okay, so the first one is done, so you can kind of see the difference in the corners there. And no, it's not like beautifully filed or anything, but most of the button isn't going to be visible anyways. Go to the next side right there. Some corners are definitely done better than others. I have started on this one a little bit, but not much. Yeah. So hopefully that just creates enough space. I am killing my hands trying to sand these things down. All right, second one is done enough. We're just gonna kind of call it good. Clean them off, get them thrown back in there, and see how they do. All right, so my issue is I don't remember which direction they went necessarily. If it really makes a difference, that I do not know. Seems like it might, because it has that little lip on one side. I guess it goes in like that, probably? Any hints in the top shell? No. Oh, I'm still zoomed in. So we'll put that one in the same way. Then we just throw our shell back on, get our cable back in place first. Throw the shell back on. And you could probably just kind of hold it in place and just give her a try. Well, I can't get them to stick anymore. Like, I'm trying. Because it was like mostly on the corners they would get stuck. Oh, it looked like it was going to for a second, but no, it's popping right back up. And then on our other one, we'll do the same. Again, just squeezing the shell in place. And they are no longer sticking down. So I believe we have fixed this one. So, screw number one. Yeah, to clarify, it's been a little bit. I took a little bit of a break, went over and ate me some dinner. This turned into an all-day project. Like, I didn't know it would turn into this. I'm not even going to be showing, like, the other controllers that, like, worked and stuff. Like, I'm going to be cleaning them off and all that. No, who all actually wants to watch that? This video's been long enough.
Okay, editor again. It's no longer 4 a.m., so I can actually speak somewhat normally. I'll be completely honest, I don't think this video is going to do super well. It doesn't really fit my normal kind of content, yada yada yada. If it does do well, and people actually do want to see a bit more of this and cleaning those other controllers, which really isn't going to be super interesting, I can do that. I haven't done that task yet. So if this video sees extra interest, I might do like a members only video of it. Not necessarily because I want to paywall it, but because I feel like that video would also very much not fit the channel and would do terrible for viewership. If you're watching this video after a certain point, you can check the pinned comment. If I did decide to do that, there'll be a link there. Channel membership is $3 a month, so it's not too bad if you really want to see more. But as of right now, I have no idea what that video would actually look like.
Oh, my legs are covered in that powder now. I did it on my lap, it was easier. Alright, so this N64 controller is our last one, and it's the one where the A button was trying to stick down, so it would kind of go a little funky. So just like with the last one, it'll probably involve sanding, but it's also going to not require me to hook it back up to the console in order to test it. So this video will likely just be ending with me testing that GameCube controller and ensuring that it works. It is, however, getting very late. My wife has gone to bed as she has work in the morning, and the Wii has moved back to our bedroom where the consoles are in effectively storage. It's organized storage, but it's storage. Easy to get to. And I'm not going to bother her and deal with testing that tonight, so that part of the video will actually be filmed tomorrow. The rest of this has all been filmed in one day. It's funny, this isn't even the usual content on this channel, but I'm putting so much time into it. I am not looking forward to the editing process. Alright, let's open her up. Somehow. Is there like a hidden screw somewhere? Maybe down there. Maybe those have to come out. Yep, those have to come out. There are two little screws inside of that. Alright, so there is our back shell with our little Z trigger. We also had our left bumper come off, but that's fine. We just have to take out the board. It looks like the board isn't even screwed in. I think I can just kind of... I feel like I'm stuck on something. Let's take that out. Is it just the cable that I'm stuck on? I think it's the cable. Yeah, that's wound in there real good. That's not going to be fun to put back in. Come on, let's get this other little bumper board out. It is stuck. There we go. All right. So it was our A button that was being a little funky. So our A button is right here. So if we remove the rubber seems to be perfectly fine from what I'm seeing. I didn't expect it to be the issue. It's going to be the button or the casing around the button. And, ooh, I'm not sure if it's going to really be easy to show. Is that like something stuck in there? Does that just need cleaned out? Let's get some alcohol going in that little buttonhole. See if it's just... Oh, yeah, there's some stuff in there. That could be our entire issue. We might not have any sanding required, thankfully. I say sanding, I'm using a file. I mean, there was definitely some gunk in that. Oh, and around the button as well. So there is this little notch, and it's likely where it was finalized in the mold. And you can see it's sticking out a little bit, like very, very little. But that could be all it takes for it to have that little clunk. So I think I will just do a very light filing on that notch there. Okay, it wasn't very easy to be precise with it, but I did get it filed down there, and now I can pass my finger over it without it stopping at all. Oh yeah, these buttons are like kind of coated, so like you have like these notches in certain spots. They're all in unique spots, so that way you can't accidentally put the button in the wrong hole. So only the A button can go in the A slot. So with that done, we'll throw our rubber back. Oh, let me, there we go. Throw our rubber back in there. And lay our board back down. Then we can slide our bumper boards back into their slots, which with these little rubber bumpers, it's actually a very tight squeeze. So just kind of stick it against it and then slide them in together. Okay, easier said than done. Crap. I had it. I just don't think I had it good. Oh, there's actually little notches. If I can get those inserted, then it'll probably go in nice and smooth. Yeah, there we go. All right, bumpers are in. Where did you go? Did you go under? Oh, that's for the start button, isn't it? Crap, start button is already in place. Oh, that's the Z trigger. All right, those are back in. Now, how does the Z trigger go in exactly? I guess it just has to sit on the other side. I hate that board can't screw down. Is there a place for this board just to kind of sit? Am I stupid? Am I missing something? Is it a combination of the two? Oh, I think I see how it goes. Okay, let me get this cable in here, because that's going to be like a fight. Gotta be really forceful with it. All right, cable is back in place, nice and forcefully, and I think I see how to do the Z trigger. My bumpers keep falling out, though. There we go. And it looks like, I need to move these cables out of the way. It literally just, like, slots in there like that. Like that. That looks correct to me. It has like a little slot it goes into. It doesn't really like get held down by anything, which is a bit concerning. But cable length-wise, this direction seems to work the best for it. So I'm just going to have to hope that that's correct. Like maybe it does go like that, but that doesn't... I feel like that would like risk messing up the cables. Let's give it a try. No, it literally won't slide in. There's like little like tabs on the side. Okay, cables are underneath the button. I really don't like how this thing's held in. Oh, that's how it goes. It's still kind of loosey, but it kind of sits in it that way. I wish it just like it could clip in or something though, but that's a lot better like than how I was trying to do it. I guess if I had the rubber on there whenever I inserted it, it would be more snug, but I can get the rubber tucked in underneath. Okay, not much more snug, but it's in there. Alright, get this cable back to where it belongs. My bumper is falling out again. Get back in there, buddy. Oh, the rubber separated. Always the worst part about doing these like older controllers and stuff is all of the little boards and little pieces that have to go in exactly the right way. Oh, I was doing the rubber backwards on that. There we go. Now that's correct. Alright, now back shelf. Just go straight down onto it. Oh, I forgot to actually put the triggers in. Alright, triggers in. And where's my other trigger? There it is. Hiding from me. I'm not a very organized technician. Come on. My hands aren't working so good. Alright. That one is in. I have to hold my Z button back somehow, so it doesn't overextend into the shell. Oh my god, my... Oh, this is killing me. It's kind of hard to like figure out how to hold it as I gotta put the board in. Maybe I'll try to like do that. Oh, the Z button just took its own rubber off. Pretty soon we're just gonna be going with the glue method if this continues. All right, trying to hold the Z button in place. What is still fighting me here? You have to be kidding me. Okay, those are in there like stone, so like those aren't the problem, but something was fighting me. Like to be fair, this shell didn't like come off super easy, so maybe I do just need to apply some more force to get it down in place. As I get one in, that one falls out because I touched it. How dare I? All right, everything is in. Our cable, oh, our cable was the problem, I think. Needs to go between those with enough space. I know you guys can barely even see what I'm talking about, but at this point, I'm just too frustrated and I just want to get it done. This isn't the first N64 controller I've worked on, I should clarify. I guess I kind of did at the beginning with that painted one. And I recall it being a pain, but like I said, that was years ago. I assumed that my skills have improved since then, and guess I'm wrong. Aha! My skills have improved. Got her. Got her. Oh my god, I'm pinching a wire. Go back in there. Just Okay, get out of the way of the arm. We don't need you getting crushed on the inside, because then we're like, why doesn't it work? Alright, we have a sealed controller. Let's start screwing it together. You know what's funny is I have plenty of N64 controllers. Like, not even including the ones that we just got from this video. Like, I have plenty of N64 controllers. I, don't even really need this one. But I guess with the N64 being, like, one of my favorite all-time consoles. I'm sorry, but PlayStation 2 still gets to take that spot. It doesn't hurt to have some spares. Now, what's bad is that, like, the video editor that I use gets, like, laggy, and it takes longer to do basic things. The longer a video is, and the more segments that I add. It could be, like, a 20-minute video, but if it's filmed, like, 1-minute increments, it starts getting real laggy. This is gonna be one of those videos where it takes me, like, multiple days to edit, like a solid week, because like it's just so slow. I can trick it if I like take the project file folder and put it into private where only the secondary secret admin account is allowed to open that folder. The program can no longer autosave, and it speeds it up a lot. But then if it crashes, I lose all of my progress, and I can't save. I have to like switch my user to the secret admin account to then undo the security lock, then go back into my user to have it manually save, then go back into the admin account again to relock it, then back into my account so I can continue editing. I've had to do that a handful of times. It's just really annoying. All right, A button is nice and clicky now. Like, it is like the same as the A. Like, even when I like flick off of it, right? Like, if I just like drag my thumb off, it goes up the second my thumbnail leaves it. You know, like you would expect a normal membrane button to do. Hell yeah. My bumpers, they're hitting the rubber. I can feel that rubber. My D-pad, perfectly good to go. Start button. And even my Z, I can feel it hitting that rubber. We are good on this controller, thank God. Okay, all that's left is to test out that other GameCube controller, see if that D-pad has been improved. Okay, I know the audio sound is terrible. Long story short, I can't use a microphone right now. It's fine. We're just doing a quick test. The downside is we're back on the Wii. Okay, if I can hit start. Cool, I no longer need this. I tried putting the bar underneath the screen this time. It didn't really help. But we have our GameCube controller with that D-pad that wasn't working going up. Well, it would just require a very hard press. You know what? I might have shorted out my first controller port. Oh, hey, there we go. Never mind. Oh, so I figured I couldn't have skipped that cutscene, but no, it's working. Also, D-pad works fine. I still think I have to press it a bit harder than going down. It actually feels almost more squishy, like, which is bizarre, but it could just be because of the shape of this, where right here, if I can get a zoom in going, you can look at the shape of the controller. You have a large gap between the top of the purple and this button, right? So you have more space there. Whereas right here, it's really dang close. That's probably why it feels more squishy, because I'm actually touching the plastic, whereas with this, I never actually come into contact with it. Either way, up on D-pad is working perfectly fine now. Yeah, when this controller didn't let me skip the cutscene, I was afraid I shorted out the controller port and I plugged in that GameStop one, but nope, my Wii is still standing. Alright, we're just gonna end this video making you stare at the Naruto Clash of Ninja screen. So, this was a long one, and it's not really the kind of video that I typically do on this channel. It's just a really fun one-off idea. These kind of repair videos, I've done some in the past, but nothing quite to this scale. Not that I was really going deep, right? Like, none of these controller repairs were like, I didn't bust out the soldering iron, I busted the multimeter once. Some of the issues I might be able to fix, so I'm not just going to throw away the controllers. If my wife can make something artsy out of them, then obviously they're going to go to her. If she doesn't, then I might dig a little bit deeper in my free time. But of course, this channel is all about Pokemon. For the most part, I do a bunch of crap on here, but that's like the main focus. So if you want to get ideas what this channel is normally like, and you want to see more gaming, I'm going to recommend my 6th episode of buying Pokemon merchandise from AliExpress, where we add a few fun gaming things there. And if you already like Pokemon, playlist right here of all of the Pokemon videos on this side of the screen, and a link to Discord right here in the middle. Thank you guys very much for watching. and hopefully I will see all of you next time. Goodbye for now.